Good evening to everyone. I'm Tommaso Lolli from Università La Sapienza, and today I'll speak about the reconstruction of Nuri Mosque in Mosul in a paper called also The Strategies and Tools for Inventing the Meaning of Places. We all probably know Mosul because it's known as a stronghold of ISIS during the civil war in Iraq and before in Syria, between the ISIS militias and the regular armies against the settlement of the Islamic State. And the cities, since it had been the stronghold of ISIS, reported a lot of destruction, both in its monumental nodes and in its residential fabric. In 2018, UNESCO launched an initiative called Revive the Spirit of Mosul as a response for the recovery of one of Iraq's most iconic cities, and with the aim of restoring urban, social, and cultural fabric of the city. It's and in this document also make a deep recognition of war destruction, as we see on the right, both in buildings and in entire district, as we see this one as the Almeida, just facing the Tigris River. It's in March in 2021, then UNESCO launches also a specific competition for the reconstruction of Al-Nuri Mosque in Mosul, that is the main mosque of the city. And it was said about the importance of this monument for the importance to send a strong signal of resilience and hope, UNESCO says, because it represents a powerful symbol of belonging for the Mosulians and for all Islamic people. The functional requirements asked by the competition was, of course, the reconstruction of the prayer hall that we see in the photos, the remaining, with the same volume as it was before. But there was also the insertion of a big educational complex composed by two institutions, one secondary high school and an advanced center for Islamic studies. And then it was asked to set the courtyard as it was an open space for praying in the summertime, and with also the insertion of a festival hall for 2,000-3,000 people for general purpose and flexible use. And all this with a new set of administration facilities, both for the mosque as well as for the imam, and all the administration services for the two schools. We can say that competition, it's just a pretext to speak about the reconstruction, and we want to conduct some reflection upon the reconstruction in general. And as a first step, we therefore need to explain a little bit and describe the mosque of Al-Nuri. We can see it in the map, this little rectangular shape in black, and we can see the prominence, the position in the city, since it is between the main gate of the city, historical main gate, Bab Sinjar, led to Sinjar, and it was on the Silk Route. And then this route crossed the Tigris River on the boat bridge, conducting on the other side to the city of Nive. And we can see it was a very important axis, also because there is the central mosque, but here in dark gray there is the souk position, and we can see here Al-Qala, that was the administrative and the representative citadel of the city. The mosque was built under the Zengid dynasty over Mosul and all Iraq, and its date construction, it's probably 1170 or 1172, and completed by Nur al-Din, the famous Nur al-Din of Crusades. Here we have the first survey plan of 1911, conducted by archaeologist Ernest Herzfeld, who dealt a lot with the Middle Eastern territories and archaeological presences. That it's almost the first dated also report to UNESCO in this cartography. We can see in green the mosque, on the left the model of reconstruction, and we can see also the building on perimeters that was like the residence for the imam. In blue we have the plush pavilion. In yellow the Al Nuri tomb that is still existing and still needs to be preserved, with also civil residential units like this one that are still present and still has to be maintained, with the minaret of Al-Adba. Then during 40s, there was a reshape of the mosque by shortening the long side, and with the addition of a new porch facing on the courtyard, but maintaining the same division and layout of the inside colonnades. And here we see also the reconstruction from UNESCO, and we can see also like the cleaning of all the perimeter facilities that were displayed on the side, the insertion of a new green, the change of the ablution pavilion, and the insertion of a new corner entrance. And that is a state after the destruction conducted by ISIS in Mission Black. We can see the only parts remaining, some pillars and some walls, and luckily the central dome is survived to the destruction. We can see here in the photo the green dome with the little ablution pavilion, and on the side the photo with all the reinforcing structure in wood made by UNESCO for not losing also this part of the mosque. But not only the mosque was destroyed, also the Al-Adba minaret, meaning the archback for its leaning position, and all its power of representativeness and identity, since I reported witnesses by Grattangeri in 1878, in which describes this as a main monument of the city. Even if this minaret was not involved in the competition, since it will be rebuilt without competition, just as it was, but it was to complete the note. As a methodological approach, as I said before, we didn't want to display just an individual solution to an individual problem, but we wanted to abstract the issue a little bit, mainly referring to the theory of the idea of Carlo Monino about the project program, since it's important because it recognizes, he recognizes a gap existing between the project intended as an individual and formal result and the general regulation in architectural urban planning, that it's almost written without drawing, and it's also it can be referred as a normative condition. And the idea of project program wants to fill the distance between the normative and the formal result by dealing with a project that can be the representation of some settlement intention and regulatory intention, and more precisely with a project that can aspire to be understood as it was a methodological manifesto of an approach that can be generalizable also to other cases, other similar cases. And so the project be like a leading idea for other similar cases. We can see in the quotation like it is a question of developing a series of concept and relation that are reversed in a partial differential solution precisely through the project. So the project as a symbol of a methodological approach. Here we can see the aerial photo after the destruction, starting with the recognition of the area to do before the project, and we highlighted here the two main monuments that are the prayer hall and the minaret, and we decided to intervene in declaring some open space, very regular, around whom to start building all the project. And here are displayed the plan of some architecture to take care of. We can have an ideal state of the mosque, 3 houses that were asked to be maintained, and the Al Nuri tomb on the north side. And also these residences were asked to be maintained. We then proposed an approach by montage technique, also in the search to be generalizable and to find some architecture that can help us to explain our idea. Here we can see the two main reference we had as the Agora of Athens and the Fares Secondary School by Hassan Fatih for the school complex, but it just examples, and they were not strictly necessary. It could have been also others, but for representation were useful. And we see the result of the montage process, in which we took the Odeon for the festival hall. We duplicate the Stoa of Aptalos as a linear body that could help us in determining also the limits of this design proposal, and also because it's very similar to the Souk solution of Islamic cities. And here we can see around the quarter of the school the classrooms of Hassan Fatih and some individual solution for solving some aspects. And after a process of redrawing, of course, of trying to adapt the montage idea to a solution, here we see the plan of the project with the school and the mosque complex and the mosque building reconstructed. Here there are some functional scheme to explain something to take care of in this competition, which is the double story solution we adopted for the school, in which we adopted a common solution even if there was two institutions, the advanced school for Islamic studies and the secondary high school. We displayed the classroom around the same courtyard. You see in the north part the Advanced Institute and the classrooms, the mosque with the ablution pavilions on the two sides, and the festivity hall that closes the courtyard of the mosque. Here other functional issues, like it was asked to divide the male and female circulation for schools and for the mosque, and to provide a landscape project with all local species of vegetation. And what we did, we tried to do. We see more in detail the school solution, as I was saying before. We use the same courtyard to face both institutions, with the same classroom to give a sort of unity to the complex and the recognizability as an institution. And we used the pre-existing houses for common services like libraries, like offices, like study classrooms for the students. There is also as you can see, the gym. And here a site of the entrance of the school from the central volume, and some inner view of the courtyard and of the gym, also to give us some reality to what you're talking to. But now we saw the project in a general way. I would like to go more deeply on some issues that can be deducted from the process, some critical idea that led us to this solution. For the school, we decided both to follow the morphology of the city, but to have a very geometric courtyard, and it respond to a kind of duplicity that we reconduct to Colin Rowe paper that is called Program versus Paradigm, in which Colin Rowe recognized the difference, the possible coexistence of an adaptation to the morphology with the perimeter, but having, as you see from the quotation, a perfect courtyard inserted as an archetypical and identity device of autonomy by the building. When Colin Rowe writes this, it refers to Palazzo Borghese in Rome, but it's a common feature also in Islamic countries. And as we can see from the Great Mosque of Isfahan, in which in black you can see the courtyard in light, in dark gray. It's like an absorption perimeter, and light gray, the compromission with the local morphology. But also the mosque of Madrasa of Sultan Hassan in Cairo, in Egypt, in which we have the same solution, having a very geometric courtyard, but adapting to the morphology of the city. And it's very common such to be considered as an iconological feature of some institution in Islamic State. So we decided it could be a good solution to resolve that irregular plot. With the pre-existence, I highlighted the old houses, and you can see on the right the general approach to them, declaring the difference of approach in maintaining what's possible to maintain, but declaring the new addition of architectural devices. And it's common in all the three houses, that approach, so to have a sort of leitmotif that links all the process with the pre-existence. The central body, it's very important for two reasons. The first we can see is that the voids inside directly relates with the monument of the minaret that will be rebuilt. And we wanted to take care of this alignment, as it was a representative space, a meaningful void for the project. But it's a void also because it can separate the true institution of the mosque and the school. And it insists on what Franco Purini calls the limit distance, in which there is the displacement of two bodies can be put close together until there is the sort of entity C that is a meaningful void that can relate to different parts of the building. And then for the mosque complex, we started from the courtyard, and to represent it was the mosque courtyard, we took the side of the mosque and built a precise square to refer to the mosque, as we see by the scheme. While on the mosque, we approached it saving what was possible to save and reinforcing with different steel structures, as you see from the axonometry on the side, all the building process. Here we see the difference in which we try to maintain the same facade, but changing the depth of the facade, so having a different displacement with planes in facade to enhance that is a new intervention on some old part. Here we can see some view of the courtyard and some facades, and I just go in some other drawings we realized for the competition. And as conclusion, that to recall what we were talking before, we can find three main types of approach generalizable. For the school, there is a sort of iconological reference to a common way of build and inspiring to typical and recurrent generative logic of Islamic architecture. For the central building, there is a sort of horizontal and spatial dispositional reference, enhancing some local monuments with the new intervention provided. For the mosque, there is more a vertical and historical reference, as typical, dealing with archaeological remainings, interpreting and revealing some historical traces. And on the right, you can see the process, design process that can be abstracted to a typological evaluation of the process, a generalization, trying to establish a methodological path that can be replicable also in other similar situations. As a last slide, I would like to mention all the people that worked to this project, from professors to architects and all the students. You can read all the participants. And I finish, so thank you for your attention, and good conference to everybody.